Welcome to Healing with Humari, and welcome to my little corner here in Northeast Arkansas. My name is Humari, and I will be your host for this podcast. I have looked on YouTube to do a little bit of research, just to see what's out there, kind of in the line of what I want to discuss and the topics that I want to touch based on. And honestly, I couldn't find anything. And so I am very excited about this podcast and starting it. So I hope that you will enjoy it. And please, if you have any questions about, the things that we will discuss, the topics, please send me a message or leave a comment, and I will definitely try my very best to get back to you. So this podcast will be very much, as you can see, it will be very casual. It will be a couch discussion. So if you're going to join me, know that this will be authentic self. This will be something that's just you and me just having a discussion. This is my introduction episode, episode 1, and I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and who I am and where I'm from, and kind of cast a little bit of vision for this podcast, and especially for the series that the Lord has put on my heart to start out with. So as I said, my name is Humari. I am a mother of 3. I'm married to a wonderful God-fearing man, and I'm originally born in South Africa. I was raised there, went to school there. I married there, had my kids there. And then in 2018, the Lord placed it on our hearts to move to the United States. And so doing, He made a way for us. Everything just fell into place, and here we are. Then when we moved here, the Lord also placed it on my heart to record a album. And so in 2020, I believe, I recorded, I think it's the same year that COVID hit. I recorded a whole album in that year. It took me about a year to record it, and it was released in 2021. If you want to, you can go look up my name. Obviously, my stage name is not Humari, it's Huvani, and you spell it Huvani. And the album name was it's Beauty of God. And it's basically, the album it's basically a story of my life and how the Lord just took me through really hard times and walked it through with me every step of the way, even when I didn't see it. Looking back and walking through that healing process, looking back, I can absolutely say He was there every step of the way. And then in 2021, right after I launched the album, then the Lord placed it on my heart because I was done with that project, and I kind of asked Him, okay, so what does He want me to do? And so the next project He wanted me to, tackle was to go study for my counseling degree. So I did that, and then at the same time, I also did my studies in art therapy. So I have my bachelor's degree in counseling, and I am a certified art therapist practitioner. A lot of words. But He started my journey there of starting to teach me. I've learned so much about the industry, and just, the therapy world. And He opened my eyes to a lot of things that we will discuss in this podcast. And He also just gave me so much revelation to what He wants the healing journey to look like, what it was supposed to look like. I mean, of course, we know that when He created the heavens and the earth, and He created Adam and Eve, His original intent and His original blueprint was for us not to suffer, not to have to go through this. But we know, unfortunately, it didn't work out that way because we have free will, and decisions were made, and those decisions carried consequences that led into generations to come. But nevertheless, he's still there with us, walk with us, and still took that really bad thing that happened, that really bad choice that was made. And his word says that everything turns, he turns it for our good, and for those that loves him, and according to his purpose, meaning according to the absolute blueprint that he set out for your life. He will not give the enemy a chance, if we decide and we make the right decisions. He will not give the enemy one chance to derail us. But we will talk about that, like I said, in the podcast, and what that looks like and how we're going to achieve that. And yeah, let me think, is there anything else that y'all might want to know about me? I already said I'm from South Africa, a mom, have my degrees, I'm an art therapist. Oh, why did I choose to become an art therapist? So, yes. When I was 13, I'm just giving a little bit of a story, background story of my testimony and, my own healing journey. I am a firm believer that if you haven't walked the walk, you can't talk the talk. So, for me, it's like I've never struggled with addiction. So I cannot minister or really, say I understand completely and fully. I can try through the grace of God and his mercies to understand, but to really understand what that person, went through, I cannot sit here and be like, yeah, I know exactly how that feels. I know exactly what you went through. No. But if you talk about loss, losing someone really close to you, I can tell you absolutely. I know what that feels like. I know how hard that journey is. And I know what it took me to be the person that I am today, heal and whole. So yes, I can absolutely say, I've walked the walk, so I can definitely talk the talk. So when I was 13, my dad passed away. He had a major heart attack, and he passed away in my arms. So the trauma was very, very real. Like I said, I was just 13 at the time. It was a huge shock, and just how, and like I said, we will talk about this more, but just how my world was shook when that happened. And by the time I was 13, by the time I turned 15 or 16, our school offered classes, art classes, as one of the subjects that you can take. And so, of course, I, was really interested, and I took the class. And that class was a real huge blessing. Even when I didn't realize it in the moment, looking back, I do realize that now. But how art really helped me grieve and really gave me a voice when I felt like I did not have a voice. And, when the opportunity presented itself to really walk into that and be able to share that with people as an option for therapy, I was very thrilled, and I grabbed it with both hands, and I was like, yes. The more studies I did about it, the more I realized how amazing it is that God uses creativity, the very thing that he first did, he created. He is a creative God, and how important that is, and how that plays a role in so many areas of our lives. We don't even realize it or know it. And that is why I decided to become an art therapist, combined with the counseling part of it, obviously. Because, even in Arkansas, art therapy is not recognized as a therapy, or a type of therapy. And so I really felt strongly to give art therapy a bigger voice, and I believe it really does deserve more credit than it's given so far. Am I going to change the world, the world's view about it? I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But it definitely did play a very, very big part in my own healing journey. And even in my clients, I can see a huge acceptance, and also how wonderful it is working with the talk therapy, and just how it brings so much revelation, so much clarity to them. And looking back at what they've drawn or what they've written, the different forms that we obviously do and present in those sessions, looking at those activities, looking back at it, it brings so much revelation, and it has not failed yet. Every time, I have a client afterwards, they like, wow, I didn't know that was there. Or wow, I didn't know that I was really feeling that, or that I didn't feel that, or that it was very hidden. So it is really an amazing tool. I think that is enough for my introduction. I don't want to dump too much in one episode. In episode 2, we'll talk a little bit more. I actually have my notes here, so I can kind of cheat and tell you all a little bit more of what to expect in episode 2. We're going to really delve into different layers, but for the first one, it's going to be called Realms, Atmosphere, and the 3-layer map. So, here I'm really gonna just start with the basics of, I think it's important if we can understand and know, like, where our identity comes from, number one, and also where we operate from and in. As you're gonna learn more about me, you're gonna know and learn that I am very, very big on belief system. I am very big on identity, not just, the world view of identity and where to find your identity and what identity is or even mean, but really the biblical standard of identity and where it comes from. So yeah, if that interests you, then please join us for episode 2. Next week, I'm going to try my very best to at least put out an episode a week. I do a lot of research for these podcasts. I'm not taking it very lightly. This is very deep, very serious for me. And something that I am very passionate about is people, people, their hearts, their thoughts, their emotions, how they go through life, and knowing that, we don't have to cope in this life. The world talks a lot about coping mechanisms, and that's one of the things that you will learn is a very bad word in my book. We don't cope. We don't do coping mechanisms. The Lord never meant for us to just survive or to cope. He wanted us to thrive, to have a life worth living for. And so that is what we're going to strive for and work towards. So if this sounds all good and interesting, please join us for episode 2, which will be launched next week. I'm so glad for the fact that you tuned in, that you sat with me and just joined me into listening what I had to say. I'm really honored and super excited for what this podcast holds and what these episodes are gonna, the substance of it and how it is gonna bless your life and even mine. I believe in learning all the way. I hope you are blessed and you enjoy your week until episode 2. See you then. Bye.